All right. Looks like we are live on YouTube. Welcome everyone to episode number 20. Big
Ooh,
Awesome. 20. Wow.
20.
Yeah, so good.
big 2-0.
That's right, that's right. So welcome everyone to the latest episode of the Risk Reward Show. My name is Cris Mercado, aka Mr. Risk, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Derrick, aka Mr. Reward.
and we have a special guest today, Damo, who will enlighten us in terms of credit. Um, and we're all here for this general mission of helping you all find the upside in your professional, business, and financial lives. So before we get started on to our segment, please make sure you follow, you like, comment, you share this episode on YouTube, and then later on Instagram, Twitter, and also you can catch a few episodes on Spotify now.
Yes, you
So
can.
Oh, nice. Spotify?
Yes,
yep, we're
sir.
definitely moving in the right direction
Wow.
with the help of guests like Damo. Um,
Yes.
I wanted to start off with our weekly rewind segment, and we've talked a little bit of sports in the past few episodes, and we're gonna start off with kind of what I thought was a big moment in sports, but also it's a gateway to talk about other issues regarding like mental states and mental health. Um, so the Philadelphia 76ers were eliminated in the playoffs in a game seven, but the biggest talk was their Robin, their superstar number two, Ben Simmons. He took zero shots in the fourth quarter in the last four games. In all seven games total, he only took three shots in the final quarter, which is really, really tough for a starter who is seen around the league as a superstar. And it got me to thinking about kind of like the mental battles when you're in, these high stakes situations, high stakes performances. So I was wondering what your takes were in terms of like what's in his head. Have you ever experienced this? Have you seen this from somebody else? Have you experienced this yourself? Like not having the confidence to even shoot your shot.
Um, I'll just talk strictly basketball for right now, just to get like my feelings out. But he needs to go. I'm sorry, Ben Simmons got to go. It's time. You done proved yourself to the entire world. They saw you cower in like the biggest moment ever in a game seven of all games. Maybe a game four, game five, but not a game seven. We need everybody to be firing on all types of cylinders on a game seven. So I do get that he knows that he can't shoot free throws. There's a like a hack there's like a hack a bin for a reason, because everybody hacks him when it's when they need like extra points or something like that. But I feel like it's really gotten to him. I'm pretty sure he watches Sports Center as much as we do. So all of that, Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that, is probably getting to his head, and that the fact that he's not actually doing it in the game itself probably hurts him too. Um, so I have been in those moments where you're not doing like your best. But what I will say is, when it comes to sports, I feel like you have to. It's like a switch. Like, you have to flick that switch. Like, no matter
Right.
what. Whether if you miss the fact that you took that shot, eventually the shots will drop. So for him to not even like, there was a dunk that he passed up on, and he's on Trey Young. Trey Young is what, 5'10", probably, and he's what, 6'8", and you're almost a foot taller than him, and you're not gonna dunk it on him. Like, that moment was like, he's just not him. But I will also put some blame on Doc Rivers. We cannot forget Doc Rivers. He's never made it to the finals. Well, no, actually, yes, he's won his one ring, but with the Clippers, he's never made it past the semifinals. Clippers made it to the Western Conference Finals for the first time, and he's been with that team for 7 years. And for him to one, take out for him not to take out Ben Simmons and not make those in-game, changes. It really exposed him as a coach too. So while there is blame to be put on Ben, I do also put blame on Doc Rivers for not making those changes when it really needed to happen. And I hope Joel Embiid, there's no more process. He better not say the process ever again. The process is done. The process has failed. They tried it and it just didn't work out. But I hope he finds a number two that's someone that can help him score.
I love the fact that you brought up the coach as well, because you mentioned that his performance for the last couple of games, he wasn't shooting. The coach should have noticed that and addressed that. So, and I love that, like I said, I love the fact that you brought that up. But just think about the mental health right now, all that pressure, especially in the finals. We all know he's going through it. But that should motivate him to do better for next season. Yeah. Especially the fans is in the outrage. You see on Instagram, the fans is stomping on his jersey, threatening him, so this is definitely going to be an eye-opener for him. Being in sports, you need to be mentally strong. Yeah. So I know he's going through it. Hopefully in the next season, he performs better.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so good take. And I think I wanted to really get at that phrase you said, Damo, so mentally strong. And this is the one where I remember times where maybe I didn't shoot my best shot. Maybe I didn't perform my best, but I did shoot. I did try, right? This one was to the point of I'm super, super talented. And I'm not even going to try. And that's like a different level for me in terms of like what's in his head. Cause we can only guess and maybe reflect on like what moments where we've had that. Mm-hmm. I don't recall a time in my like real adult life where I didn't take the shot at all. And for someone to be as talented as he is to make it to the NBA and be considered a star in the NBA, he's might be better than 99.9% of most folks in whatever they're good at, right? So that to me is like alarming, and like the idea of mentally strong. So I actually do buy into like this strength versus weakness. I just don't think that people are weak all the time, but we have moments of weakness, right? Yeah. We don't have to be weak people, but we can admit to having moments of weakness. And I know a lot of people don't like mentioning that because it's about, mental health, but it becomes a fine line on like, well, what's a mental health issue versus is this like a strength versus weakness issue? In the realm of sports, he's gonna be seen as weak. Like if we're on some sort of competitive endeavor, even in business, it could be like that business is weak. Let's go after that business's clients, right? In athletics, it's going to be the same way. So it's not like he's going to get the support from his competitors. They're gonna attack him. They're gonna continue to attack him. So like he has to work with this within, and like that's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, like working through our own personal issues. But so like it just brings up this idea of like how do we talk about mental health? I definitely don't have like the right answers for that, but I think while yeah, he deserves some critiques, and the fans like stomping on the jersey. I think I was more. What's more telling is that his teammates felt like, oh, he let us down, and you heard it in the comments. You saw it in the game. You're like, how could you pass up that dunk kind of deal? And like that's hard to do. And I hope the takeaway here for our audience is that listen, if a skill set got you to a point, at the very least, find the wherewithal to like shoot your shot. You may not be at your best. Your confidence may be wobbly, but I hope it's not to the point where I hope you find the resolve to actually still shoot that shot.
Right. So pretty much what he needs to do is regroup, stay to himself for a minute, analyze the whole season, what he could improve on, and find a solution.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's what he needs to do.
And that a solution is start to learn to shoot free throws. That's the solution.
that's one. And yeah, I would recommend some sort of like, I guess, mental coaching, like aside from like the actual head coach, but like a personal coach would be helpful. Which brings us to the main topic, because we're going to talk about scoring. Scores.
Right.
We're going to talk about coaching to improve credit scores.
Yes.
So as I turn it to Derrick to have this longer form convo with Damo, Damo, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes. So my name is Dominique Dorsland, but you can call me as Damo. That's why everybody calls me. I am the owner of Dom's Credit Guru. Been doing in the credit industry about a year and a half. I have a lot of finance experience, about 10 years. I started, studying credit for about the last 3 years, and I decided to start my credit company.
Awesome. I mean, with that being said, Cris, I met Damo in high school. Damo was the best stepper that I knew. So he.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I mean, when have you stopped stepping, or you still do it from time to time?
Yes. Well, so I was coaching for 10 years after I left Midwood.
Okay.
But me physically stepping, I'm rusty.
Don't do it no more.
I'm rusty. I don't do it no more. But me doing it so long, I'm able to coach and build good steppers up. But yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we met in high school through my wife, and that's kind of where the friendship just started from there, and literally it just kept on going. So
right.
Damo's one of the closest friends that I still like. He's one of the I feel like in Midwood itself you had like your crew. We were all a part of that same crew. So whenever there's anything that's going on, Damo's there, I'm there. We still have the same friends, so I'm happy to have him on here to not only see him, but also for him to talk about his business. So, I mean, the first question I have for you, Damo, I mean, I know you do have like a lot of background within finance, but Cris and I, we own our own companies too. But what made you start yours?
So obviously, in my 20s, we all mess up our credit. We wasn't responsible, so we have charge off, collection, not paying our bills. So it was about time for me to clean up my credit. So I hired a credit repair company. That didn't work out. So I decided to do some research. I actually follow a credit repair company, and I like how she did her business, and she was very educated when it comes to credit. So I followed her, and I've been watching her for a very long time, and plus doing some research on my own and paying for courses. So I invested in myself to learn more about credit. But when I actually launched my company, I got sick with COVID. And I was tired of my job. So after I recovered from COVID, I decided to say, hey, what is there to lose? Why not invest to start my own company to fix credit? And how I started my credit repair company is with my credit. So I paid for courses, did some studying, studied the laws, and how I started is basically I took on free clients. Those were my guinea pigs to see actually what I studied actually applied. So I asked for 10 people. It turned out to be like 20 to be my guinea pigs, and I, fix their credit, educate them, find out my whole workflow through them, and ever since then, I've been doing good.
That's what's up. I hope you didn't call them the guinea pigs.
I did. But everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
somewhere. You know, the things that I let them know, hey, I'm new to this, but I'm willing to do this service for free.
Yeah.
At the same time, you get some results at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, having your credit fixed is for free. I think is that's a win for everybody. Like there's nothing but upside there.
Right.
But just taking a step back, I kind of want you to kind of explain to us what is a credit score and why do you need it and what does it mean? What does it determine for you?
That's a good question. So pretty much a credit score is a number generated by a mathematical formula to predict your creditworthiness. And it ranges from 300 to 850. I heard that it's going to increase to 950, but there's no hard evidence about that yet, but 850. So pretty much a lot of companies use credit bureaus. There's three main credit bureaus, but there's more out there that people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian.
Mm-hmm.
Now, certain companies use these credit bureaus to determine if they're gonna provide you with a service, or if you're looking to do a mortgage to purchase a home, they look at your credit score, or maybe to get a car loan. Mm-hmm. So pretty much, it's kind of like an adult report card when it comes to finances. It's like an adult. So and how they formulate that is basically they break it down to like 5 different categories. Your payment history, your utilization, the length of credit, new credit, and pretty much those. And they analyze that and they determine if they're going to approve you for whatever you're looking for, which is like, for example, getting a mortgage. Mm. And they broke it down to different percentages. Your payment history is 35%. So, and it's very important to make your payments because when companies look at your payment history and you have late payments, they're not going to trust you to lend you any money or give you any finances for certain trade lines or something. Mm-hmm. So it's very important that you don't miss any payments. Another one is pretty much the length of credit. So credit limit. It's very important that you have a large credit limit because it affects your utilization. So for example, you have a credit card that have a $500 limit. And most of the times when people do purchases on a credit card, they're large purchases. So if a person just used $500 as a credit limit and they use $250, you already use 50%. Mm-hmm. So it's more important that you build your credit to get larger credit limits. For example, maybe $10,000 of a credit limit and you have multiple cards. Mm-hmm. It's better that you have a large credit limit. Mm-hmm. All right. Different trade lines. And people may ask, what is a trade line? A trade line is pretty much an account that you have positive payment on. Mm-hmm. So a credit card is a trade line, a car note is a trade line, a mortgage is a trade line. So to get like maybe an 800 credit score, you need to have different trade line. Get a long-term loan, a mortgage, car loan, student loans. If you have multiple trade lines and you make the positive payments, make payments on time, you are more likely to reach the 800 credit score. And the length. And the length meaning the time frame. If you have a credit history that is 10 years, that's perfect. Compared to somebody that have 2 years. Most likely a person that have a 2-year history, that most likely the credit score is going to be the ranges from 500 to 650. The more credit length history that you have, the more chances of a higher that you're going to get a 800 credit score.
Gotcha.
And it is extremely important because pretty much credit runs the world now. For you to even go to rent out an apartment, they check your credit. You know, purchase a home to get a mortgage to check your credit. So I feel like a lot of people are more taking their credit more serious because life is getting more harder and harder without credit. So it's pretty much people are being forced to use their credit and fix their credit.
Mm.
Damo, can I ask a follow-up question real quick?
Yes.
Regarding the apartment check, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a credit score in the low 800s
Mm-hmm.
before I started applying to an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just checked today and it's now in the high 700s. So did the loss of like those points come from those credit checks?
It can be, yes. I will have to take a deep look into your credit, but it could be for inquiry, or it could be maybe your utilization went up from using your cards or credit cards. It could be that too.
Okay.
But usually, when you have a hard inquiry and a soft inquiry, your credit score tends to go up and down. So it could be because of that inquiry.
So is that temporary or like that's a permanent hit and I just have to do the normal things that got me to an 800 to get
Well,
it?
it's not permanent because credit scores always go up and down. Yeah, always. No matter what you do, it's gonna go up and down. So pretty much that inquiry that brought your credit score down, you can always bring it back up by continue paying your debt down.
Cool.
So the points that you lost, you can regain it back.
Cool.
And especially like people that's in that situation with a good credit score, I always tell them, don't worry about it. You're gonna get your points back. That's something you shouldn't worry about. And feel like a lot of people are always like, oh my God, my credit went down 5 points and I was at a 755. You're good. You're still good.
So that's comforting. It was just, the whole front digit change from an 8 to a 7.
I understand.
I want that 800. I want to talk for that 800.
Yeah.
I understand that you want to be in the 800, but I always like to say, and I always tell clients that do have that great credit score, you're so worried about, your score dropping, but are you using your credit? And what I mean by that, you're so happy that you have an 850, but that 850 is just standing there and you're not gaining from it. How are you leveraging your credit?
Yeah, I'm not. So I got follow-up questions later.
That's what's up. I mean, just to follow up with what Cris said, like when I purchased my home, my credit definitely took a hit. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
which is normal.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. I was like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
So I feel like I had the same feeling as Cris. I just wanted to just double back on something you mentioned earlier about having, I guess, like that large amount of credit, but having like multiple cards. Does having multiple cards affect your credit score, or should you just have one card with like one large limit?
It doesn't really. It depends. Having multiple cards won't hurt your credit.
Mm-hmm.
It will hurt your credit if you use most of the credit on that card, on the multiple cards.
Gotcha.
If you have so much debt, then yeah, it's definitely going to affect you. I would say to all my clients that you can have 3 or 4 cards, but make sure you have the income to back it up. Because a lot of people, and this is what happens when we're young, we take all these cards, we swipe it out. When it's time to pay, you don't have enough money. Your money is too spread out because you have 5 cards that is due, and all those payments is like $75, and you don't have enough income to make more than the minimum payment.
Mm-hmm.
Because the key is to make more of the minimum payment so your debt could decrease. Mm-hmm. Now you have all these cards, and you can't make more than the minimum. Gotcha. So that's when people start making payments. And that's where it all starts. Just make sure that you have the income coming in to pay off that debt.
Mm-hmm. Dope. I mean, you kind of answered a couple of questions that we had with regards like why the credit goes up and down, with like the length of credit, how much credit you're using. But one thing I really like that you said that really hit me, and it sucks that it hit me so late in life, but using your credit to your advantage.
Yes.
When I understood that, I was like, why am I using my money? Like for what?
And I'm you're not the only one, but now that's what I push. Yes, it's great that you have a 750 or 800, but what are you using? How are you making money with your credit?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
this when I say that, I don't want anybody to rush to do anything. That takes a lot of research and to find out, okay, what is a hobby that you like that you can make money off of? Or maybe you just want to invest in real estate.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of things you could do with your credit. You just need to find out how to use that for your advantage.
Gotcha.
And that's something the individual really have to sit down and think about, how can I make money off of my credit?
Yeah, that's true.
Start a new business,
Mhm.
that's the key.
I guess just I know when we spoke before, I know you mostly deal with like the personal credit. But is there any advice you can give to, Cris and I, or, our audience about the business credit? Like what do you know about business credit?
So I'm not too familiar with it, but I know the basics. So basically, let's say you started a new business and they always inform you need to get a business credit card. Pretty much to get a head start off of that is basically you can apply for a business credit card, but they're gonna pull your personal credit because you don't have any business credit. So you have to make sure your personal credit is on par. And sometimes they could do a personal business secure card as well. Some banks offer that, but not all banks. Is very rare.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another option. Another option as well is secured loans, and pretty much a secure business loan. Excuse me, and pretty much is basically like a secure card, but is in a loan form. So
Yeah.
pretty much you put down, I don't know, maybe the minimum they will ask is $2,000. They hold that money as collateral, and they give you a loan for $2,000, and you just pay that money back, and you start building your business credit.
Mm. Is
So
is is the business is it like its own FICO score, or is it called the FICO score, or does it have like another name?
for his business, no, it's totally different. I don't know the name, but it's a different system that they use when it comes to business credit. Like I said, if you don't have business credit, they will look at your personal credit.
Gotcha. Dope. Thank you for teaching me that. Really appreciate that.
But business
Um,
credit is very powerful too.
mhm.
So if you have a business, anybody out there, I suggest that you really get a business credit card and start building your business credit.
Yeah.
Can I ask my follow-ups here?
Yeah.
So I have a business. I have a business credit card, and you're talking about just now, like leveraging your good credit score.
Mhm.
And I admittedly haven't done that. There are three things that I can see myself doing with like using my credit score.
Mhm.
So one was buying a home, but right now the prices I feel like have escaped me. So I gotta wait a little while till it becomes a little more reasonable. So I'm gonna put that on the shelf for a second, right? Then the second one is okay, expanding sort of like well, I like to trade the stock market. Now the thing is, you know, at least the way I approach it, I don't want to invest on margin, right? I don't
Mhm.
want to invest on somebody on like loaned money. So I'm not gonna I don't see myself leveraging my credit score for that, right? Even though I could get a loan and then take that money, put it in my account temporarily, assume that I do all right and then give it back. Trading on margin to me is still a risky thing. So that leaves me with the third thing, which is to invest either in business, right? So it's either to grow like my media company aspirations or my current business, but also instead of residential property, I'm actually starting to look at buying commercial property
Property. Mhm.
because that would be cheaper, right? I'm sort of a bargain hunter.
Right.
So thinking about that, like how do I leverage both like my I haven't I have zero debt, right?
Perfect.
I'm debt averse, but I have this great credit score. Someone in my situation thinking about how to leverage like the good credit on the business side. like what resources should I look at? Like, I'm not going to ask you for a particular move, but because I'm thinking this out loud, but like, what resource should I take a look at, or what are your thoughts on me looking at commercial property, and using my credit that way?
You looking at commercial properties is great. I think you should definitely go for it, but you have to plan accordingly. You have to plan accordingly. I don't like when I say people leverage your credit. Don't go crazy. Just jump into an idea when you haven't thought everything through. So you gotta think if you're gonna use your credit to start a business or purchase a home. You gotta think, okay, for your situation, commercial property, right? Let's say there's a commercial property for maybe 1 million. You know, you gotta think about how much you're gonna rent it out for, right? Then you're gonna think about how much you rent it out for, how much is the monthly payments for that loan. Then you have to think about other expenses. So, and that's what I mean by proper planning, because you have to figure all that out so you don't default on that loan. Because a lot of things could happen unexpectedly. Then you might have some employees need to do work on the property. So you really got to think everything through before you go and apply for that loan. Because if you don't prepare for that, you could be in a disaster. So the best advice I could give you have to plan everything out first. But you got to think about, all right, I plan everything out, but you have to think about there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 or 3 months that I'm not going to get any income. Do I have money? Do I have enough money to make payments for those times that I do not have income coming in?
Well, so in that case, what about that? Yeah. Well, just quick follow up. So that second scenario, have you heard of people take out large loans to like temporarily invest in the stock market? Like, what do you think of that?
I heard about that. That is risky.
I mean,
extremely risky.
That's his name.
Risky. I mean, if you have enough experience in that, go for it, because that's you have enough experience and you feel confident that you're gonna have some kind of return. But if you're brand new to that, I would not recommend it. I would not recommend it. But if you have experience, go for it. But just know that there is a risk. There is a risk.
There's definitely a risk.
Yes. And I'm a person that always like to think of the worst and be prepared to have something in the background just in case something that I'm covered.
Yeah, I have that same attitude. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, for that individual that's thinking about doing that, I would say, and you're brand new to it, I'll say start off small. Use your own personal money first to see how much you can return and gain the knowledge. Then you could go big and with taking out a loan and investing it. But I want to recommend somebody off the rip and doing that. That's calling for the disaster.
Good advice.
Cool.
Yes.
I mean, I'll kind of ask both Cris and Damo this one, but Cris being a former 800 credit score person, me trying to be a 800 score person.
You took shots.
And Damo, I'm pretty sure you've helped people reach that 800 credit score, but I know you kind of touched upon some things earlier about certain things that make your credit look good. But I mean, we just really want to, know like how possible is it to get like that 850? I mean, Cris, you had what, 810 about?
I think my max is like 817 or something like that.
817. So, Damo and Cris. I mean, Cris, you can kind of just talk about what you've done to kind of get to that level. But Damo, what is some of the steps that you laid out for a lot of your clients to get to that 800 credit score?
Pretty much, like I mentioned, have multiple trade lines. On-time payments needs to be 100% on time. Once you have that one payment, maybe your points could drop maybe 100 points. So being on time.
One missed payment?
Yeah, it could.
Oof.
Yes.
Okay. So
it's extremely important that you make your on-time payment. You have to. If you don't, then your chances of reaching 800 is not going to be achievable for a long time.
Mhm.
You know, everybody could reach there, but it takes time. And I want to say it takes time because everybody is always in a rush to get that 800 credit score. They're itching to like, oh my God, what is not going up? Credit takes time. You
The
can't
American
rush it.
lifestyle. We want it now.
Exactly. And that's the thing that I always tell my clients. First thing, credit takes time. Repaying credit takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not.
Mhm.
But the two things I would say that's important: payment history, your credit limit. If you have a huge credit limit, that's one thing, and have multiple trade lines on your account.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So along the same lines, I try to, and a lot of this is now easy because of auto pay. So pay everything in full on
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So for me, if I can't pay it in full, when that credit card bill is due, my mindset is like, oh, I couldn't afford it in the first place.
right. And that's what I mean. The income, you have to have that income to support it, your debt.
Yeah. The only exception would have been like buying a house or some sort of property.
Right.
And then the other thing was I stayed alive. So try to keep myself healthy to the point where I'm alive long enough to make these payments because that time having that credit history is so important. But on the other side, it's what do I do to protect the hits on my credit score? And that one is really be responsible or curtail my spending so that like I'm not at a point where like I might have to miss a payment. So I think those lifelong habits, again, like they take a long time. These habits start from young,
Hmm.
right? Um, and it becomes easier. It becomes automatic, so you don't have to think about it. So I really don't think about my credit scores until like, oh, like that apartment credit
Right.
check. And I was surprised to see my credit score like be up that high. Maybe first time I really started checking was like a year and a half ago. I was like, I'm on like about 820. So if you do the habits, if you execute on like the discipline, like we always say, Derrick, just focus on the habits and the process, and then it should take care of itself. My credit score took care of itself at the end.
And I love that you said the habits. A lot of people need to have better spending habits, financial habits, and that's definitely something I mention to my clients, and I always ask them, "What are your spending habits?" And that's where they tell me everything, and I tell them, "Hey, this is what you need to do. You need to cut this out. You need to cut this out. Um, this is not really necessary." So now you cut certain things out. You have enough. You have more money to make towards your debt.
Mhm.
So I 100% agree when you said make better habits. Yes.
Yeah. For me, I feel like I learned this like pretty recently, but just having those habits like now has helped me a lot. It really hit me when I looked at one of my bills and I'm like, where's my money going towards? And I realized there was nothing but takeout. I'm like, I gotta stop this. I'm like, we have to cook now.
You gotta learn how to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having, I watching YouTube and stuff like that and hear people talk is something always, but when you see it in your face, you're like, nah, we can't have this.
I 100% agree, and I think um, when this happened to me, it opened my eyes. I had an American Express. I still have one now, but I have American Express, and American Express, they don't do limits.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Tell me
remember
about
I
a
went
black card.
crazy.
Okay.
So I just went crazy, and I seen my monthly payment, and I said, I can't afford this.
Yeah.
I can't afford this. So you know what I had to do? No ordering out, no lunch, starving stuff, save any penny, and I had to make that huge payment. And that's the last large payment I ever made because I'm not doing that again.
So I also have one little hack, and this might be just for me, but I still pay for a lot of things in cash that I can't write off as like a business expense, right? And what happens is when because cash, you see your wealth being transferred to somebody else. But when you swipe a credit card, it's like, it's a swipe. But when I'm taking out 20s and giving it to somebody else, like I feel that pain. Like it's leaving, like my money's leaving me right now. And I don't like that feeling. So that's a psychological trick I play on myself to keep myself from spending too much.
I always tell a lot of people, use your credit card instead, because first you pay cash, what are you getting back? You're not getting back enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. No rewards or anything like that.
There's no rewards, you know. If you have a credit card, maybe use your credit card so often you could buy a ticket to go on vacation. So it's more, you have more of an incentive and more of a rewards if you use your credit card instead than your cash.
Yeah, I'm happy that you touched on that, and I just want to see if you can speak on that just like a little bit more, because I recently paid for my trip by using my points.
Exactly.
So everything has been paid for because I was using my credit card, and I started to realize, I'm like, if I start to pay my bills with this, then I can get more points. Therefore, I can buy this ticket for free. So that's exactly what happened. But what are some of the rewards that you've seen that a lot of these credit cards are giving? Like, what I mean, travel is I guess like the top one, but what are some other ones that you can share with us?
Travel, cash. Some cards that give you certain perks. Like, for example, they give you a discount maybe on a concert, or it give you access when you fly in to be in a certain private club and that you're exclusive somewhere before you fly out. There's a lot of different perks they give you, and a lot of people don't know that. Sometimes the perks is luggage insurance, credit card. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that on, I think maybe on American Express or maybe Chase, that they give you insurance for your luggage if something happens, So there's a lot of perks out there. It's just that people, when they think about credit card, they get very intimidated because they hear all the stories about the debts and collections. But if you just use your credit card properly, you won't have to worry about that, But there's a lot of benefits from using your credit cards.
Makes sense. Switching gears just a little bit, but really want to focus on, helping our audience find like their upside, and knowing that all three of us have our own companies, and the fact that we all deal with clients on a daily basis.
Right.
In all different capacities, though. I feel like when it comes to you have a very special relationship with your clients because this is their money. And I feel like when it comes to money, people are very, very sensitive. Right. So if you can share some insight on like how you were able, I mean, before you mentioned that you were doing this for free to kind of gain, some traction and all that. And you were able to kind of show people like, hey, I took this person from a 500 to like a 750. But how are you able to gain, like, what's your strategies to gain clients as well as keep them?
So my strategy is I'm big on personal relationships, making a person feel human, making a person feel comfortable. So I've been doing it for about 10 years. I've been working in a financial institution for a while now, and I know how to interact with a person, especially when it comes to their financial needs. So you got to be a people person. You got to know how to smile. You got to know how to connect with people. You got to know how to make them comfortable. Because when it comes about money, it's all about trust. Mm-hmm. So I would say first thing is building a rapport with them, making them feel comfortable. And also educating them. When you educate them about certain things that they don't know, they feel more comfortable that you're an expert, that they're in a good hands. Because, this guy know what he's doing, so I don't have to worry about anything. So that's also building trust. And also I would say also be consistent with the clients. Always follow up, let them know what they're doing, what's going on. Because they always want to be updated on what's going on, and then make them feel, like I said, comfortable. Also is that setting the right expectation. I think also when you set the right expectation, is less disappointment.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say that because before I started my credit company, I hired a credit person to fix my credit. And me being the person I am, I didn't know anything about credit, so I paid this person money, and a month later, I'm like, "Hey, what's going on with my credit? It's been a month, my credit didn't change." What the person failed to do is set expectation and educate their clients. And that's where I canceled the service because there was no expectation. The person didn't educate me. Now that I'm in the credit repair company and I see the whole process and how long it takes, and I understand, I'm like, oh my God, it takes so long to fix your credit. But the person went wrong is not setting the right expectation and educating the client. That's where that person went wrong. So now that I know that, I know how to treat my clients.
Gotcha.
So it's all about that personal interaction, making that connection, making them feel comfortable, educating them.
Cris, I will say there's been a couple of times when I walked into Damo's job and that that work face just went away. Whenever I was like, Damo, and then he was just like, oh, not now. But I do have a question for you. Something that I'm curious about, because I feel like for me, when I work with my clients, it's more along the lines of like helping them, strategize in terms of like hiring and how to adapt to, the changes within the workforce. So for me, I'm probably spending like 3 or 4 months with the client just to kind of get them up on the speed, as well as making sure that their structure is like, sound. And how I retain them is that I'm offering them talent. So like, hey, you have like that talent pipeline. So if you need talent, or if you have like an open role, rather than posting your jobs here and there, you can just come directly to me and I'll be able to help you find that talent. But for you, once you're able to get that credit score to like an 800, how do you keep people there with you?
So after they reach their goal, I always set up a session where I give them tips on how to save, or how to obtain their mortgage, or get a car. Because most of the time, everybody that gets a service from me, because they have a financial goal they want to achieve, pretty much all the clients. So once we reach our goal when it comes to credit score, and that's where we take the next step on reaching their dreams, which is purchasing a home. I break down the steps on how to obtain a mortgage. Do you have a 401k? Do you have a savings? What's your budget on your monthly payments? How much can you afford? What's your debt to income ratio? So I go through all of those so I could prepare them when they're ready to apply for a mortgage, that they have any issues. So pretty much after we reach their credit score, the goal, we're going to work on their financial goals that they want to achieve after.
Gotcha.
So that's how I maintain the long relationship with my clients.
Okay.
It's definitely a 3-step process. The 3-step process is basically remove the negative items, then build your credit score by secure credit cards, secure loans, authorized users. And once it's up there, then we're gonna go for their financial goals that they want to achieve.
Gotcha. That's dope. I like the fact exactly how you just broke it down. It starts with just getting rid of these items first, then getting that credit score, and then it's that bigger goal.
Yeah.
Whether it be a house, a car, or probably like a business or anything. Is there any other goals that people go for besides house and car and like business?
I do have one. This was definitely hit me. I was surprised when this client told me this, but their goal was to get credit goods so they could apply for a loan to get surgery done. Plastic surgery, like BBL, whatever the case is. Yeah. So I'm like,
Brazilian butt lifts.
When I said that, I was like, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. But the typical is pretty much purchasing a home, getting a car, or maybe fix my credit to be able to rent out. Those are the typical ones.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's how powerful social media is, man. Got the Brazilian butt lift. Like
Yeah.
That's
woman.
my financial goal. The Brazilian.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that's different, but hey, let's go for it.
Yeah, I hope she matches the thighs.
Yeah, that was a funny conversation.
Oh man, I mean, Damo, I think you gave Cris and I, as well as our audience, like a very very clear overview of one, what is credit, how you've helped people kind of repair their credit, and just tips and tricks to make sure that you're keeping your credit high. Cris, you've also kind of laid out your steps too, in terms of how you've done that. But I just want to see if you had any other follow-up questions for Damo.
One quick one before we get to like more fun stuff.
Cool.
How does a spouse's credit score affect,
Another spouse?
Yeah.
The only way it affects it if they have a joint account together, like a car loan that's joint, a mortgage that is joint. That's the only way it can affect. Or being added as an authorized user.
Okay. So, all right. So, lesson to the couples out there: keep some of that money separate.
But when it comes to the credit repair, there's a lot more details. Details about loans and collections. But that's a different, episode. But yes, there's a lot to it when it comes to credit repair.
Cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, write that in your prenups, couples. So now let's get to like we've gone into like personal money stuff. I want to get into personal fun stuff because of your relationship with Derrick. So do you have any embarrassing stories of Derrick?
Embarrassing stories of Derrick?
Yeah, one that won't get him in trouble with his lady, but something that'll give some insights for our audience about who Derrick the man is, even when he was younger.
To be honest, no. I don't have.
I mean, before we went on live, what I was telling you about how so Damo had a birthday party, but he didn't make a birthday party.
It wasn't a birthday. Wait, no, it's just a regular party.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
what happened?
It was a regular party. I want to say you probably invited like 100 people, and even before the party got started, we were all just like pre gaming and stuff like that. And then when the actual party started, Damo was nowhere to be found. Damo was upstairs, knocked out.
So upset. I was so upset. I had my own party and I wasn't even there. I was drunk. I was knocked out.
It was a great party though.
It sucks that I can't say the same because I wasn't there.
Well, hopefully
that's definitely a moment in history.
Yeah, hopefully there's some footage of that later on.
Ooh, is there? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, this brings me to what we have on the Risk Reward show. We have something called the Risk Reward game, where we go through a short list of scenarios, and your job is to either say risk if you think it's more of a net risk, or reward if it's a net reward. So we'll start off with the first scenario: opening a store credit card for a big discount. Risk, reward.
Reward for me.
Okay. Lending a friend $10,000 for a business venture.
What kind of friend? There's different levels of friendship.
Okay, sure.
There's different levels.
So a very good friend like Derrick.
I'll be honest, no.
There you go.
So that would be risk. That would be risk.
Yeah, that'll be risk. Yeah.
Okay. I like the honesty. So you ain't getting any seed money, Derrick.
All good.
And since you like stepping, turning up the volume when "Step in the Name of Love" comes on by R. Kelly. Risk or reward? Is that a risk or reward?
I don't see the reward for that unless somebody's paying.
Kels is always that's always like there's always upside for Kels. And
Well,
music wise.
So, okay, so the reward, what's the reward for me doing that? Nothing.
yeah.
And the rest is no risk, so neither.
Okay. All right. Rasta pasta. Risk reward. Risk or reward?
Reward. That's definitely a reward.
All right. So since Derrick is into Bitcoin, how about buying the dip in Bitcoin?
See, that is a risk, but that is a risk that I'm willing to take.
There you go.
Okay.
That is a risk that I'm willing to take. So I would say both, but I would say reward.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So next scenario, asking someone out on a date via DMs.
Damn, for this generation, but I'm not. I mean, it depends how long y'all been talking. It depends, like the conversation wise. I would say, why not go for a reward?
Okay. All right. Dating someone with a 380 credit score.
I don't think that's a risk because I can fix their credit. Reward.
that is betting on yourself. That is like confidence in business. That is awesome. That is awesome. And then the last one is in a business related message, writing as per my last email. Risk or reward?
To me, that's reward because if I had to say as per my last request, you pissed me off. In some kind of way, you pissed me off. So I would get some of my anger out in that email.
That's exactly why we have that scenario. Thank you. Thank you for playing the risk reward game.
We should definitely keep that one.
Yeah. That's definitely a consistent one. So that brings us to our final segment, sort of to wrap things up, which is the right move for right now. So Damo, first, thank you. I want you to let people know how to follow you on social media, how to reach out to you.
All right. So first, my email is domscreditguru@gmail.com. My Instagram for Dom's Credit Guru is doms_credit_guru. Yes.
Awesome.
You guys can find me.
Yeah, so we'll have...
And on my website, almost forgot my website, is www.domscreditguru.com.
Easy enough. So we're going to have those links afterwards.
Thank you.
So that folks can access it via the YouTube episode link. And then, a couple of right moves right now for me is, so one is, aside from following Damo on social media, one is paying all your credit card bills like on time in full. So that's a big part of why I was able to get a score which is within the range of excellent. And I think finding ways to do that as regularly as possible is the right move right now. Derrick, what's your right move right now?
It was said earlier in the episode, I think by you, but set up your auto pay. That has been my go-to. I've never imagined such a feature would help me out so much. But setting that up ASAP.
And I have one too.
What you got for us?
Make a payment before your statement period. And the reason why, because on the statement period, that's when they report your current balance on that day. So if you make a payment before that statement period, your credit score is guaranteed to go up.
Ooh, that's a nice little hack.
Yeah.
Little hack.
For your statement period.
Okay.
Yeah. I love getting those statement emails and like the balance is zero because I have it ahead of time.
There we go.
Okay.
That's also comforting. So Yeah,
Yeah.
this has been a really important episode. Credit is just a big issue for folks, and looming behind it is like student debt. So we want to find ways to help our audience, minimize all the other ways that debt can get us into trouble. So Damo, thanks again for joining
My
us.
pleasure. It was a pleasure being here with
Yes.
you guys.
Yeah,
Damo, thank you so much, bro. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Not a problem, man. I'm
So,
here.
yeah, for the audience out there, just to close out, we hope you found this helpful. Follow Damo, and please, follow, like, reshare the Risk Reward Show across social media, because I think we can help you all find the upside in your personal lives, your professional lives, businesses, and financial lives.
Yes.
See you
Awesome.
all. See you all next time.
See ya.
Have a good one, guys.
All right.
Thank you.